Hello, I'm Mr. Shovelware, and I hate games like this that come from bad game companies who don't know what games are. They're just trying to make profit off the 100 million people who bought the Nintendo Wii. They know 100 million people bought this thing, so they're just trying to make money off of them, hoping someone will buy these games. Imagine how many kids cried because of these games on Christmas.
The Nintendo Wii, a console with so many games on it. Did you know this thing has over 1,200? I always find the worst shovelware on this console, and well, I'm Mr. Shovelware, so I guess I gotta review them all. Guinness World Records, the video game. I remember the books back when I was a kid. They were giant and made walking home from school a real challenge. They had such vibrant pictures and such creative things that you normally wouldn't think about reading. I remember kids were always talking about it and looking for variants of the same kind of thing. So how do you make a video game out of that? I guess we're gonna dig into this turn and find out.
Well, the game presentation is pretty underwhelming. It looks like something you'd see on coolmathgames.com. This game supports up to 4 players, such as Joe, and Dan, and Bob.
Who needs sleep anyways, right?
You can also edit your avatar and make them bald. The menu for this game is one of the weirdest I've ever seen for any video game. To figure out what it is you have to do, you have to press every icon and hope for the best. Why couldn't they just put text under them? The game starts and 80% of the game are locked, so you know, that's cool. The first game I played was the BMX one, and it has one of the worst control schemes for a minigame that I've ever seen.
Forget Wii Fit. This is a workout.
The game itself is whatever. I've never been a motion control person, so maybe this game isn't for me, but this game seems to be a cap on how far you can go. I went as fast as I possibly could in real life and could never break 60 miles per hour. Eventually, I just gave up. Also, this game is really dangerous for little kids to be playing. They're jumping 60 feet up in the air. If I were their parents, I'd be crying. Also, I looked it up, and the highest BMX jump in the world is 26 feet, so any realism this game had just gone out the window. The next world record is highest video game score. Huh? I was a little confused by this one, admittedly. Highest video game score, like, of all time? Now, it's not that big of a deal, but why would they choose something that doesn't exist rather than the hundreds of ideas? They could have chosen from the actual Guinness Book of World Records that actually exist. Well, the actual game is pretty basic. It looks like an upgraded version of an Atari 2600 game, but with motion controls. It has the decent ideas, but it's pretty basic and bland. It actually reminds me of something you see on the Vectrex or even the Virtual Boy. Sadly, this may be the best game on the entire collection. It resembles, you know, an actual video game. This game is so bad that it turned my hair gray!
Alright, next minigame. What do we have here? What do we have?
Why would they choose something so disgusting? The motion controls suck, by the way. Yeah, that's awesome. A disgustingly bad game concept with even worse motion controls. To eat the bugs, you use the cursor to drop them in the kid's mouth and then shake the remote to eat them. I can't play this game. It's making me sick. There are bad game concepts such as sneakers. That was a horrible one. But at least it's not nauseating to play. Oh, look at this. Another great concept. Balancing a bus on your head. Is that even possible? I have to look that up. So I found a video of a man named John Evans, and he's balancing a car on his head pretty well here. A stunt like this, however, takes a lot of training and respect to do properly. Years of practice. And this kid just walks into the street and does it like it's nothing. Also, this game's population confuses me. There's these cartoony guys, then there's the bobbleheads, and then there's the normal avatars you use in the game. I wonder if it's the same thing as stereotypes in high school. Then there's games such as slamming your head into watermelons, painting, ripping phone books in half, and shooting plungers at a girl tied to a board. What? Yeah, that's when I checked out. That's not even a world record. Lots of these games don't have a lot to them. I never really found myself enjoying any of the games. A lot of the motion controls are wonky, and to be honest, the game doesn't make any sense.
I honestly think this game would have been a decent idea if they chose minigames that made more sense. Instead, you're just doing things like eating cockroaches or balancing a bus on your head, and the games aren't that fun to play. The motion controls don't work half the time, and honestly, they just didn't have the best idea with it. The presentation makes it look like a Flash game, the menus are confusing, and all in all, it wasn't too much fun of an experience. That's why this wins a title of the Shovelware Book of World Records. This is the worst game I've ever played. Under, maybe 7 or 6 other worst games I've played. Yeah, this end line didn't work too well. Hey everyone, Merry Christmas, Mr. Shovelware here. Over the past 2 years, I've been reviewing turd after turd after turd. It never ends. What if I told you I actually made a game at one point in my life? It's called Pac-Man 1.0, and it was on this free game hosting site called Scratch, where you basically code your own things with a very limited template. Today, I'm going to stop being a hypocrite and review a game that was made by yours truly. So how bad can this be?
Scratch is a website released in 2007 that has over 22 million players. The site uses its own code and block-based quote-unquote grammar to teach individuals how to make a basic game. Growing up, this was taught in my classes in school, which is how I made my first and only video game. It has one of the largest communities I've seen for any website, and has tons of games. But, again, this is for kids, so not all of them are good. This one game called Ninja Roy is actually pretty novel, showing that all Scratch games can be pretty good, if the right developer puts the right amount of time into it. It has fluent animation, the controls are great, and it's just a fun game that me and my friends used to play on the schoolyards a lot. This game is just called Pen, and it's the most basic thing I've ever seen. It reminds me of something you'd see on the Atari 2600 in terms of graphics, but still, a decent game. This game, I can't even figure out what you're supposed to do. It's just a cat bouncing her head. Seriously, someone help me, I can't get it. And some games aren't even games, they're projects. How cute. Some games are based off of actual games. Here we have Cuphead on Scratch. No one ever talks about this one. The Game of the Year nominee for the Xbox One is here. And it's okay. I mean, it's barely a game. I can't figure out where to go. If you go to the left, you go nowhere. If you go to the right, you go nowhere. The animation is fluent, and it looks like it would control fine as a game, but there's nothing to do. It's like staring at a blank wall. This is the extent of the game, if you can even call it a game. I wonder what Microsoft thinks of this. This game sucks. Another thing to note is that you can't plug in an Xbox 360 controller. You have to use the keyboard and mouse for most of these games, which can get frustrating. Here we have Sonic 06, the Scratch game! Well, it's sure faithful to the original. If there's anything that could have been omitted from this version, it should have been the load times. Why would they want to put that in this version? The game sucks, by the way. It's a platformer, and you basically walk instead of run. The controls are awkward, and it's only one level. Great.
You know what? It's better than the actual Sonic 06.
Here's New Super Mario Bros. On Scratch. The whole game is glitchy. Goombas jump in and out, things are moving everywhere, Mario can barely stay on the damn ground. And it's okay for a Scratch game, but that's not saying much. Alright, time to fight a Koopa. Oh, come on! What's with these physics? Can it kill me? Wow, Mario's face is a shield. Oh, sorry, my bad. Last time I played New Super Mario Bros., the platforms move up and down, then it'll just fall into the sky. This game sucks! Alright, the classic Super Mario Bros. With characters such as Mario, Luigi, Link, and Pikachu.
Dude, I'm playing as Pikachu in Mario Brothers. How awesome is that?
Well, besides that, the characters don't actually do anything different, and it's just a basic Mario platformer. What was that? The piranha plant just came out of the ground. Are you freaking kidding me? Here's Pikmin on Scratch. I don't even think I need to comment on this one, really. I mean, it's just a blob of pixels. It looks like you took the original Pikmin disc and shoved it up someone's ass, and they farted it into an Atari 2600 controller.
And now on to the main event, Pac-Man 1.0. Was I planning to make more? Like, the title just baffles me. Pac-Man 1.0? Were there going to be more versions? Was there going to be a Pac-Man 1.1? Or a 2? That's great, by the way. I stole the asset of Pac-Man. It's copyrighted, and I just flat out used the character and the ghost. But it's so bad that Namco probably wouldn't even want to use it.
Here it is, Pac-Man 1.0, developed by me. Maybe this is why I ended up reviewing games on the internet and being pissed off, because I couldn't even make my own. It looks jarring. You can only move one space at a time! You have to hold it down! Oh, and that's a great end screen. You can tell I worked really hard on that. You just lost Pac-Man. Well, you may as well just say you just lost your entire life because this game sucks. Oh, and look at the sprites, by the way. Pac-Man has a white dot floating in front of his mouth. The ghost looks like someone drew it in MS Paint. In fact, I'm pretty sure I did. And the Pac dots aren't even lined up properly. Everything in this game is a steaming pile of mess. Oh, and great you win screen. Could I chose any other color than yellow that matches Pac-Man's skin? And the sprites don't even disappear after you win, so you can still play the game technically after you win. If you touch the wall or anything black on the screen, you go flying back to the left corner of the screen. What's the point of that? And I didn't even do this right. Look, I didn't even fill in the whole square of the screen with black. Only one side of it is. And I couldn't even make a square. If you try to win a second time, the game freezes in time and nothing happens. I didn't even program it right. And here I was, all these years, critiquing games like Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. But the thing is, I can't even make my own game, so what's the point of ranting about them on the internet? If I was trying to make a game, it'd probably be terrible. Imagine a game like Sneakers. I'd probably make it look like E.T. for the Atari 2600. I'd make Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 look like the worst game ever made times a billion. I can't even program a game, so what's the point of critiquing these games anyway? I don't know, it's just for fun. But my point is, this game sucks!
I guess it's the end of my first Christmas special. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like it, and I'm going to put a link to Pac-Man 1.0 in the description below. So if you want to play this travesty, you can. Well guys, I did the math, and the economy's in the toilet right now. YouTube channels are dying left and right from this new apocalypse thing. Natural disasters are happening everywhere in the world, and there's a political rampage wherever you go these days. I think the world is... ah, rats. In these tough times in modern day America, it's important that we continue to do what we love to do. And in my case, that's always been playing video games. How do you play video games when money isn't there? You can't afford the new Madden, you can't afford the new Call of Duty, you can't even afford the Xbox One or PS4. But there are tons of great gaming experiences you can still play and enjoy. So my name is Jeff Compass, and today I'm going to show you how to game on the cheap.
Now first off, if you're in a country where video games aren't supported or are really expensive, there are ways to get around this. I legally can't endorse it though, so think of the opposite of what I'm saying here. Never pirate your games. Now I personally don't support or do emulation, but if your country is in the middle of a civil war or something, I don't see any other choice, so go for it.
I know most of you aren't living in those types of countries, so what do you do exactly if you're saving up for the new Maserati, or you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you just had to sell a kidney or something like that? Here are things that you can actually buy in Goodwills or thrift shops or anything like that for really good prices.
Here's some consoles that are relatively cheap you can find on Amazon and eBay for decent prices. Original Xbox, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Nintendo Wii, as of this year, 2017, these consoles are relatively cheap. You can find them for pretty decent prices online, or you can often find them at Goodwills or even garage sales for $10 to $20. Often a bundle for a console, including the wires and controllers, will average to about $30, which isn't too bad in the long run. But I guess you probably need some video games to actually play on the console. Here's what I recommend. If you just buy one or two of these games, you won't be spending more than $40 altogether. And the good news about these consoles are that they have a ton of hidden games and gems. Just do some research. Ask me if you need a good recommendation in the comments section below. Go on the internet forums. There are a lot of things you can do to figure out some really good games for these consoles. You'll end up spending $5 a month if that's how fast you go through games to keep that really awesome gaming experience still going.
Now, as that video hopefully showed, you don't have to be rich to be a gamer. There are many good experiences you can still have for fairly cheap prices. You can find those at Goodwills, flea markets, or even online, and those are just some basic examples. I scratched the surface. There are tons more consoles and games if you do the right research you can really get into for a good price. As such, it's very easy to be a gamer no matter who you are. So, thanks for watching, gamers. This has been Jeff Compass. Keep on gaming.